No room! No room! More tea?
How nice, how civilized. Tea time. I hope I'm not interrupting.
No room!
There's plenty of room.
Who is she?
Didn't you invite her?
Of course not. No room for extra guests.
Have some wine. I don't see anyone. There isn't any. Then it wasn't polite of you to offer it. And it wasn't polite of you to sit down without being invited. I didn't know this was your table. It's set for a great many more than 3. It must be uncomfortable for Dormouse with both of you leaning up against it like that, but as it's asleep, I suppose it doesn't mind.
Your hair wants cutting.
You shouldn't make personal remarks. It's very rude.
What day is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong. I told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
It was the best butter.
Some crumbs must have gotten in. You shouldn't have put it in with the bread knife.
What a funny watch. It tells the day of the month instead of the hour.
Well, why should it? Does your watch tell what year it is?
Of course not. That's because it stays the same year for such a long time.
Which is just the case with mine.
Oh, I don't understand you.
Wake up, Dormouse! Wake up!
Of course, just what I was going to remark myself. I want a clean cup. Let's all know one place.
If you knew time half as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him.
I don't know what you mean. Of course you don't. I dare say you've never even spoken to time. Well, I know I have to beat time when I learn music.
That accounts for it. He won't stand for a beating. I curled in time last March, just before he went mad.
March? What? Oh, March!
Don't you remember? It was at the grand concert, thrown by the Queen of Hearts. I had to sing, Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the world you fly, like a teardrop in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle.
Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle!
I just barely finished the first verse when the Queen of Hearts called out, "He's murdering time! Off with his head!"
She does like that expression.
Ever since then, time won't do a thing. It's always tea time now. No time to wash the cups or the plates or the saucers.
So that's why you're always switching places.
As things get used up, there's bound to be a clean cup somewhere.
But what happens when you're back to where you started?
Ugh, I'm growing tired of this. Tell us a story.
I'm afraid I don't know a story.
Wake up, Dormouse! Wake up!
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word you fellows were saying.
A story!
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep before you're finished.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters, and their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly. And they lived at the bottom of a molasses well.
What did they live on?
Molasses, of course. What else?
Have some more tea.
I haven't had any yet.
Then she can't take any more.
You mean she can't take any less? It's easy to take more than nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
Who is making personal remarks now?
Dormouse is asleep again.
Wake up, Dormouse!
Wake up!
And these 3 little sisters, they were learning how to draw. What were they learning to draw? Well, I suppose you can draw water out of a water well, so I guess you can draw molasses out of a molasses well. Stupid. But they were in the well. Of course they were. Well in. What? I've never seen this behavior in my life. My whole
Don't go splashing paint over me like that. I couldn't help it. You jogged my elbow. That's right. Always lay the blame on others. You'd better not talk. I heard the Queen say only yesterday you deserve to be beheaded. What for? That's none of your business.
Yes, it is his business, and I'll tell him. It was for him to cook 2 little bricks instead of onions.
Well, of all the unjust things.
Am I about done?
Almost.
Why are you painting that rose?
Well, the fact is, you've seen this. This here ought to have been our red rose, and we put a white rose in by mistake. If the Queen were to find out, she'd be furious. That should do it.
Just right.
Let's be on our way.
I'm on my way to the 8th Square. I seem to have missed the train station.
Question is, did it miss you?
Might as well try talking to these flowers. Let's get any sense from those 2.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Oh,
I didn't mean to startle you.
I didn't know you could talk.
I can talk when there's anybody worth talking to.
Can all the flowers talk?
As well as you, and a great deal louder.
Your face has got some sense in it, though it's not a clever one.
She has a nice color. I don't care about the color. If only her petals curled up a little more, she'd be all right.
I am not a flower. I'm a human being.
That's your problem.
Well, aren't you afraid of being planted out here? What would you do if any danger came? There's a tree nearby.
Then what on earth could a tree do? It could say bow wow. That's why its branches are called boughs. Didn't you know that? Silence! Every one of you.
How is it you can all talk?
Put your hand down and feel the ground.
It's very hard.
Most gardens make the bed too soft, so that the flowers are always asleep.
I never thought of that before. Does anybody else come out here in the garden?
Anybody like you mean?
Well, yes.
There's another female in the garden somewhere.
Same awkward shape as you, but she's much paler. And her petals are shorter, I think.
Does she come out here often?
She's coming this way now.
I hear her footsteps, thump, thump, along the gravel walk. I don't want to listen to her. She talks such a